In today's video, we're laying out and cutting rafters for a lean-to roof. Plus, learn how to avoid a very common mistake when building this style of roof. A lean-to roof, sometimes called a shed roof or a mono-pitch roof, pitches or slopes in one direction. Now, this style or type of roof can be freestanding, or in this case, it can attach to an existing structure using a ledger. A ledger, for those that don't know, is a framing board or beam that is attached to the existing structure first so that the new structure or roof can be attached. For today's example, this roof needs to have a pitch of 4 inches or 102 millimeters, which means that for every 12 inches or 30.5 centimeters of horizontal run, this roof will rise 4 inches vertically. Not all lean-to roofs have a predetermined pitch, but for today's example, we do. With that said, however, we do need to determine a few things, and that is we need to figure out the total run, we need to figure out the diagonal length of the rafter, and we need to figure out the specific location or the height of the ledger. In order to get the total run of our new structure, we simply measure from the existing exterior wall or old structure, which is this 2x4 wall, over to the exterior wall of the new structure, which is this top plate here. That measurement is 44 inches or 112 centimeters. Because our roof design utilizes a ledger, we need to deduct for its thickness, which is 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters from the run. The math then is 44 minus 1.5 inches for a total of 42.5 inches or 108 centimeters. With that number established, we now have two numbers, the total run and the pitch, which is all we need to start using the calculator. But before we start crunching a bunch of numbers, let's take a quick look at a drawing just to make sure that we're all on the same page. At this point, we've figured out the total run of our new structure, which is from the ledger here to the outside edge of the wall here. Again, we deducted our 1.5 or 1.5 inch ledger, which left us with a total run of 42.5 inches. What we still don't know is the rise here and the diagonal here. At the calculator, enter 42.5 inch run, 4-inch pitch, and hit the diagonal button for an answer of 44 13/16 or 114 centimeters. From there, all we need is the rise, which is a simple click of the rise button for an answer of 14 3/16 or 36 centimeters. Back at the drawing, we now have three numbers: the rise, the run, and the diagonal. However, the rise that's on this drawing represents a rise up to the theoretical measuring line. And if you've seen my other rafter videos, this line runs from the edge of the wall or the corner of the bird's mouth all the way up the rafter, which means that there's still more rafter above this line. And that measurement has a name, and it's called the height above plate, or sometimes called the rafter stand. Height above plate changes depending on the bird's mouth cut and the width of the framing material used. For example, if I show you one of the rafters used to make this roof, you can see that if I extend the line up from the corner of the bird's mouth, its measurement is 6 1/8 or 16 centimeters. This number is really important and can be found on height above plate charts. One of the best places I found for this information is from a website from SBE Builders. Here it shows you the height above plate, the pitch, and it gives you the ability to enter in your own information. So for our roof, we need to enter a 4-inch pitch, and then we need to enter a seat cut length, which is this measurement here. In general, the seat cut length is whatever your exterior wall thickness is, plus the thickness of the sheathing. So for our roof, let's go with a 4.5 inch or 11.5 centimeter seat cut. This, of course, is a great place for me to mention that building codes are different all around the world. So be sure to check your local building codes before you build anything in your area. Next is the rafter material depth or width, depending on how you look at it. Our material is 2x8, which at my lumber yard measures 7 1/4 inches or 18 centimeters. From there, press submit, and if you scroll down, you can see the height above plate, which is 6.14 or 156 millimeters. So why do I show you where to get all of these numbers? Well, in order to figure out the exact height of your ledger or the height of any roof you're building, you need to know the height above plate for your specific rafter size. And if we look back at our picture, you can now see that our rafter will actually be sitting 6.14 inches higher than the theoretical rafter line. And this is where a lot of people make a mistake. They forget about the height above plate. So what's different between a lean-to roof and say a more traditional gable roof is that we're building to an exact height. That ledger has to be installed exactly where it needs to be in order for the roof to work out. So if you forget the height above plate, your height of your ledger will be off. Therefore, in order to get the exact location of our ledger, we need to add to our rise of 14 3/16 the 6.14 inch height above plate to get a total height of the ledger, which is 20 5/16 or 52 centimeters. With that, measure up the 20 5/16 from the bottom plate, make a mark, and install the ledger at that location. Because I've done a lot of videos on how to cut and lay out rafters, we're going to move through this section pretty quickly. Using the numbers we've already figured out, lay out a framing square with the 4 on the tongue, which is our pitch, and 12 on the blade, and draw a plumb cut line. For those of you that don't know where the 12-inch number came from, the 12 is actually the unit run for a common rafter. And these are common rafters, so for all common rafters, the unit run is always 12. Next, our diagonal measurement, which was 44 13/16 or 114 centimeters. So we're going to measure down from the ridge plumb cut line and draw another line. Flip the square around so that you can measure over for the 4.5 inch seat cut. Draw a line, and this is the bird's mouth, which gets cut out. Next, a quick 8 inch or 20 centimeter measurement for the overhang amount, and then down 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters for the fascia cut. Again, these numbers are based on personal preference or by design. With everything cut out and with the rafters installed, you can see the plumb cut lines fit great with the ledger, and the seat cut, it's sitting perfectly as well. Well, that's it for today's video. If you still have some questions and you're still a bit confused, start by watching my other rafter videos first, and then if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to me in the comments or on Instagram. That's a great place to connect with me. Thank you so much for watching and supporting Training Hands Academy. God bless.